Hey YouTube, what's going on? Chris here. Want to bring you all an update on Litecoin. Right now we're at $69.43. We're down 1.6%. And guys, it's September 9th, 2019. It's 4:31 p.m. Eastern time. So I want to put that out there in case you're watching this a little later. What I want you to pay attention to today is the close. It's going to be very valuable to us because what we're doing right now, guys, we're having basically with this trend line, we're not so much having a trend line break, we're actually just gliding through it right now. And we have not had confirmation with good volume of a trend line break. So we're going to break all this down. Appreciate you being here with me today, guys. If you like this channel, like, subscribe, smash that like button for me, and we'll dig into this. So what I wanted to point out first, the significance of volume. I think people don't talk about volume enough because a lot of times it will confirm moves for you or true breakouts. And what I wanted to point out is this green trend line. This is what we were paying attention to back in June, May and June for the longest time here. And we were talking about if we get a trend line break, it could be pretty devastating to the downside. And you can see what's happened here. But the point I wanted to bring to you, do you see when we had this trend line break? Take a look at this candle here. Do you see how it's a long day candle? It's a very strong candle breaking down through, and it's also on very heavy volume. Do you see the volume down here? So that's significant. That's how we knew it was a true trend line break. And what we ended up having was we came down and we bounced off this 50-day moving average, so it acted as support. We got a Harami pattern and we pushed back up. And a lot of times, guys, you'll retest the trend line after you break out. And what professional traders do, say they miss this breakdown, they'll actually get out in here. And that's what we saw. We saw tweezer tops for the reaction, and then we just got pushed hard to the downside. And the reason I'm bringing this up is so that you can learn these things and apply it to your trading. Now, do you see this trend line break that we had here? Look how low the volume was compared to what we had in this downside break. So what we've been doing is basically just drifting sideways through the trend line right now. So that's something I do want you to pay close attention to. Now, on the 1 day, so I would not consider that a true trend line break by any type of means right now. Okay, next, what I wanted to point out to you though is, so here was our low, and it was around $61 right down in here. We came up, we set a lower high than where we were at before, so we've been having lower highs and lower lows. But what happened was we set a higher low right here and then a higher high, and we're going to see if we set a higher low and then eventually another higher high, and that's how the trend will change. That's what has to happen for us to have a trend change, guys. It's so important. Now, we closed up above this 10 EMA in orange, so this moving average in orange is our 10 EMA. I want you to take a look at that, and for the most part we've just been getting pressed down for almost 2 months by this 10 EMA. I mean, it's just worked us. So the fact that we did have a candle close up above that, that's good. That's something that I'm happy about. Now what we're seeing is rejection at this 26 EMA. And what I like to look for is a cross between the 12 EMA and the 26 EMA if I'm playing a shorter term position. So right now we're going to see if we can close up above that 26 and eventually get a cross of that 12 over top of that 26. Now, where the trouble comes in though as well is we have this 50-day moving average as well as our 100 EMA and then our 200 days acting as overhead resistance for us, guys. So we have a lot of downward pressure, and you see how these moving averages have fanned out? That means the downtrend was very strong. So whenever they fan like that, it's a very powerful downtrend, just like when they fan to the upside over here. Do you see all this? How we fanned open, it was a very strong uptrend. Now we have that stronger downtrend. So right now, guys, I told you I've been in cash. I'm patiently waiting to see confirmation. And what you want to wait for is that confirmation. Even if you don't completely drill the bottom, that's okay. It's better to see an established trend and then jump on that as opposed to trying to nail some bottom and catch falling knives, guys. It's something that you really want to pay attention to is once you have that true confirmation. And a lot of people would even say it'd take being back up above the 200-day moving average again for us to be back up in that uptrend, that true uptrend. Now, take a look at this here, guys, as well. So like I said, I'm a moving average trader and trend lines. I love looking at trend lines, moving averages, support, resistance, candlesticks. Those are things that I like to pay attention to. But do you see this 50-day moving average? this entire uptrend, we were up above it, and then we ended up losing it at $120. So to look for more confirmation, if you saw us finally get a candle close up above that with a nice candlestick pattern, a bullish candlestick pattern, then maybe that's the time you want to start looking at a long. But you want to be careful in these areas, because we very easily, if Bitcoin starts getting, breaking down to the downside out of a descending triangle and it doesn't break up and it wasn't some type of flag pattern, then that could push Litecoin to very low levels. You can see I have an alert here at $61. I want to be alerted. And then there's even some lower areas around $50 and even $40 if we really get pushed hard to the downside. But we're going to have to see what happens, because now we're trying slightly to change this trend, and we're going to have to see if it ends up paying off here, okay? So let's dig into the 4 hour quick. I don't want to keep you too long, but I just want to show you how these things change. So you can see here was our trend line. Here was our breakout of that. Was not huge volume, but you can see how we put in this lower high here from back in here, okay? So it was still a lower high, but we set that higher low, lower high, slightly higher low going off the real bodies, then a higher high, higher low, and we're going to have to see what happens, guys, if we're going to break out over top of this 71.66, because right here we had a ton of chop. Do you see this area here? We spent 2 or 3 weeks in this range, so now that's going to be a lot of overhead resistance to try to get through. As you can see, we wicked up to it a couple times, so it's going to take big volume to get up over top of that. So that's all I'm trying to bring to you in this little stream here, guys, is I want you to just be careful. It's better to wait for confirmation than it is to just blindly go in and say, hey, I think this is the bottom, and then all of a sudden it starts going a lot lower when you could buy the Litecoin or cryptocurrency at a much cheaper price. So that's just my advice to you. I hope you guys, look at it yourself. If you're just a hodler or whatever, then keep doing what you're doing. But it's always best to be careful and try to preserve your capital the best that you can. So, guys, if you like this, smash that like button. I appreciate you being here with me. Try to do the best I can for you. Remember, like I've told you, I don't have a crystal ball. None of us do. We're just basically going off the technical analysis, trying to put the odds in our favor and trying to ride the coattails of the market movers or market manipulators. So that's what we got to do, guys. Just want to bring this to you. Take care.